The views and opinions expressed by the host are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the show or its management. Furthermore, the views and opinions shared by any guest are their own and do not reflect those of the host, the show, its management, or its community. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Business Brews and Beyond, where we talk about business, life, and the way we show up in both. I'm Coach Celia Jacobs, streaming live from Southwoods, Philippines. And today, we're going to dive into something that affects so many people around us: real connection. How we connect, how we date, and everything in between. A lot of us want something meaningful, something that lasts, but most of the time, we're tired, we're a little guarded. What we feel like a connection in the beginning, alam mo yun, sa simula, iba pala. It's actually something else. Let's talk about that today. Instimacy. Instant intimacy. So sometimes we need some guide to know if the connection that we're feeling is real from the beginning. Without further ado, let me introduce to you my guest for today, Dr. Toni Liu. Our special guest for tonight is a holistic physician, international speaker, and a relationship educator who helps people build deeper and more authentic connections. A multifaceted creative, an inner child Reiki energy healer, cartoonist, comedian, and a sex educator. Living as a nomad since 2018, our guest brings a grounded yet expansive perspective on love, personal growth, and meaningful relationship. Join me as we welcome our guest for tonight, Dr. Toni Liu. Hi, Dr. Toni.
Hi, Celia. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You're streaming from China, right?
China right now, yes.
Yes. So, how are you, Dr. Toni? Before we dive into so many things today, I'd love to hear what's happening with you right now. What's inspiring you? What's keeping you busy?
Oh, lots of things.
Yeah.
Most recently, I've been doing pickleball tournaments. I was just
Wow.
in Boracay, the Philippines, for 4 months, and I entered 5 tournaments and won a lot of cash prizes from it and doing
Wow.
pickleball coaching. So
Wow.
it's really random, but I'm continuing to travel all over the world. And so now I'm in China and I'll be going to Europe this summer.
Definitely, that's the freedom lifestyle, Dr. Toni, and we want to be inspired by you this in this conversation. So let's start because we are going to talk about a particular topic. You've coined something, and it's a cool word, intimacy. So we're going to talk about it. And before we started, I already asked some people to put in their questions. So we're going to ask you some questions. So that we hope that you can enlighten us with some of the things that we want to know and how we can connect more with people. So let me start, Dr. Toni. First question that I want to ask you: for people who generally want relationship but feel stuck, what does putting yourself out there look like? Like intentional and not random.
Yeah, that's a really hard one, right? What does it mean to put ourselves out there? It's to be open to a connection and a conversation. And sometimes that means you starting a conversation with someone you might find attractive or think that there could be something, but that's what it means to be intentional. And I think it's also where you do things where you're hoping to find someone who shares that same activity in common, like a personal development workshop, a mindfulness retreat. For me, I love sports. So if it's important for my partner to also share in those things, that's where I'm going to look. It's random if you're just talking to anyone on the street or in a cafe. At
Yeah.
least try to find something in common with someone first and just say hello. It could just be asking them a question if you're in a cafe or a restaurant, like, hey, what did you order? Is it good? Would you recommend it? And then if they're interested in you, they'll try to keep talking to you, but
Yeah.
they could be shy too. So, but putting yourself out there, I think, means being willing to make the first move, which it shouldn't all be on the men to do, I think,
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah, because I think gone are the days that it's supposed to be only men who can, who can ask or who can, really strike up a conversation. And I like what you said, Dr. Tony, that you have to be aligned. If you're going to a place where, and you meet someone in a place where your interest is there, then I think that's more of a
Mhm.
community or a place where you can find someone that has the same interest and alignment with you, right? So, how do
Right.
you do it? You've been going to different places, different countries. For some people, especially the women who are watching us right now, can you give us some things, some tips of how can we be more intentional without really forcing it? If we're in a place where we can meet some people who has possible, connections that we can make.
Yeah, by not forcing, I would say there are two ways. One is you don't force the connection if the other person doesn't seem open and interested in continuing the conversation with you. So just being mindful of that, you be warm and inviting yourself and just open to a conversation. And the second is not forcing it to become something romantic because you don't know if people already have partners. That's the
Yeah,
downside of meeting organically. But that shouldn't be your only goal. It's just genuinely to exchange ideas, make a new friend, maybe, or acquaintance, or activity buddy. If you're going to this event again next week or next month, then just think of it as I just want to get to know someone and have an interesting conversation and share our ideas and experiences. So that keeps you very open and it doesn't come out as forced at all.
yeah. I think, if you find a certain interest that would both of you would click, you talk about something that would be interesting for him or for you or for her. I think that starts the conversation, and you pick it up from there. See how it flows. Thing about really trying to force it, it comes out as desperate move, or in the desperate place. And we don't want that. We
Mhm.
don't want look as if we're chasing or something. We're just out there trying to be seen, be found, and find someone. I think
Yes.
that's the case, right? More of putting out that vibe. Okay, so Dr. Tony, for the people who don't want to waste time, what are the right signals that they should be paying attention early on?
Yeah, I would say it's hard because people can practice and answer questions in a certain way and be on their best behaviors. So I tell people don't just look at their words, look at their actions. And it takes consistency over time, unfortunately. You can't know someone in a really, really short amount of time who they truly are. You have to see if they are, unfortunately, wearing a mask, not to assume that they have one, but just to notice if their actions match their words, if they put in effort consistently rather than being hot or cold or uncertain about you, because that's never a good way to start off on the wrong foot with. And questions can be about ones that reveal how they think about things. Are they thinking about things in a more simple way, or are you looking for more complex and nuanced answers? The black and white thinking reflects a fixed mindset, and you're really looking for someone who has a growth mindset. That person is
Yeah.
more likely to be flexible, open minded, a team player, and an actually good partner. And it's also important to see how they handle stress. There's a lot, but you can observe, and sometimes it may seem perfect what they're saying and what they're doing, but if your intuition still feels like something is off, don't ignore that either.
Yeah, I think that's a red flag already. If you just feel that there's something's off, something's wrong, and you cannot just you can't put words on it, but it just feels wrong. So I like what you're saying, that consistency matters, because like for example, when we try to get to know someone, obviously they would, especially those who would want to pursue or want to know us better, they would show all the good things, all the good traits, right? The right vibe. But I think it's more of the value versus vibe. I think we should be consistent.
Yeah.
We should the value of the person. If it aligns with us, then that's worth our time knowing them. But how about you, Dr. Tony? When you go around different countries, you play sports, you do art, you go to several speaking engagements, is that automatic that when you go there, you try to, immerse yourself in the culture and find someone that you'll be interested with, or do you go to places where you think you can find someone that you would want to know when you're in a different place, especially for those digital nomads, those traveling around? What is your tip for them to have, like, to be open to the possibilities of knowing people?
Yeah, I'm usually open to chatting with anyone who has any of those interests in common, because if they don't end up a friend or acquaintance, maybe they could be a business collaborator. You just
Yeah.
never know how a relationship will turn out. And I'll just give some personal examples. In Valentine's Day, around that time, well, there were three people I met pretty randomly who were interested in me. And actually, one of them, it ended up being, we even took an overnight trip to a pickleball tournament. I would not suggest signing up for something that quickly, but it just ended up being that our friends were going and he was really good. We played well together. And I was just like, why not? And I felt safe that my friends were
Yeah.
also going to be there and at the same
Yeah.
hotel. So it was great getting to know him, but it was just from saying hi in a sushi restaurant. It wasn't even at pickleball. I invited him to pickleball because I had my rackets. I was on the way, and he had played a different racket sport, his home country. He was traveling through the Philippines, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm going." And he's like, "I've never played before. I'd like to try." And we played really well. So it's just totally ended up being so unexpected. But it wasn't a fit long term because there were certain core values we didn't align on, but you just never know how one thing can lead. I think that's the most fun story that I have
Yeah. Yeah,
from
because
that time.
sometimes there would be a spark in the first meeting, first conversation. There would be a spark, but uh,
Mhm.
during the time that you would be like giving time to really know someone, I think that's the only time that you will know, oh, this is something that is worth pursuing or trying to know them better. But you have to be out there, you have to really show up, sometimes just, even if it's a random conversation that turned out to be a pickleball tournament and hitting it off together, you'll never know because it's always a no until you try it. So you'll never know if it's
Exactly.
a yes or no, right?
Yeah, and I actually didn't expect him to be single because I saw he was waving and talking to a Filipino baby, child, and woman. And I just asked him, "Oh, is that your family?" And then he said, "Oh, no, it's my friend's family." And then we just kept on talking, because that's generally a good sign of a good connection. If you're like, wow, the conversation just flows. But related to chemistry and compatibility, you can't just rely on vibes and chemistry. You can have really good chemistry with many people who are not good long-term partners for you.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you're looking for too. And some people are more okay going with the flow if they're not in a rush, if they're wanting to get more dating experience. And others are like, no, if I'm going to invest my time and energy, then I want someone who's on the same page and dating intentionally or looking intentionally for a long-term match as well. Not that it has to be really boring, because both are important, but it's easier to build chemistry over time once you make sure you're aligned on the big things than to try to change people if you have a great chemistry but you're on totally different pages for
Yeah.
lifestyle.
Okay, Dr. Tony, can you walk me back? Are you like this from the start? Are you this, friendly, open to possibilities, or is there a turning point? Because like for most women, like for me, for
Mm.
example, I had a baby at 20. And from that point I was like really struggling and so I separated. When I turned 50, that's the time that I felt like, okay, I'm ready to meet some new people again. I'm ready to go around and attend events and do this and that. And it felt liberating also for me. I was always on the phase wherein I have to work, I have to do this, I have to be like this and that. Can you give us some tips on how can we start going out there. Like for example, the 40, 30, 40, 50 who would really want a tip or who would really want something. How would they start? In the Philippines, most of us are in the conservative side. So can you give us some tips and tricks on how we can start, meeting new people again?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't used to be like this. I was very shy, introvert, socially awkward, and I was always drawing in a corner by myself. So I really didn't learn to talk to people much until my first medical training teaches you to ask people questions, and just to build trust, I guess, or help read people or like help them feel comfortable. But not everyone needs to go through that. Not everyone can access that. But for me, just
Yeah.
traveling, getting the chance to start over in a new place where nobody knows you, then you can recreate a new identity for yourself. You don't have to tell yourself the same story. Oh, I'm bad at talking to people. You could just be like, I'm just here to experiment and try. And that helped me. And as a nomad, I've traveled mostly by myself for 8 years now. And every time I had to build a new community, because otherwise it's just so lonely. So I learned to just practicing it a lot. So if you are not changing your environment, you don't have to do something as drastic. Just go out to change your routine. Just go out to a new event or meet up or group that you haven't before, or visit a new coffee shop, and just challenge yourself to talk to one new person each time you go. It could be once a week, it could be a few times a week, it could be every day. But if you just get used to talking to people, no matter if you feel attracted to them or not, then it just helps the nerves. Then you're just able to talk to anyone.
Yeah, I think I can relate to you because when I started going to different countries, I would in my the mindset would be I would be reinventing myself. I don't want to think of
Yeah.
myself as someone who's shy, as someone who cannot do this or cannot dance or cannot do this. I'm super serious whenever I am in my comfort zone. But then when you
Mhm.
when you start traveling, there's freedom there, and it helps you also explore things that you don't realize that, okay, I can do this, I can be this, I can be whoever I want to be. That's a good thing about trying to find also the right connection. But let me ask about instant intimacy. Let's go there. Let's deep dive on the instant intimacy because it's more of meaningful dating. I want to connect
Mhm.
that to MD because you're a doctor. Instant intimacy. Because can you explain to us what is intimacy, because that's a word that you've coined for instant intimacy, and I'm super interested to know more about it and how we can learn about not to really force things but find meaningful relationships through alignment.
Yeah, and relatively quickly, I came up with it and the method because I needed to do it for my own life where I'm nomading somewhere. I'm only here for a few months. How do you more deeply connect? Because on average, people say it takes you 1 year of living somewhere to make true friends. And I'm just like, wow, that seems too long. Maybe there's a
Yeah,
way we
that's
can shorten
too
this.
long.
Yeah. So, and then the MD stands for many things, right? But mindful
Yeah.
dating. So it really is just paying attention to what questions you ask and also what kind of experiences you have together. Because lots of people just do the traditional food or drink date and it's just talking and it can feel like an interview sometimes. And no, just go and have fun in different ways. Play a sport together, do an escape room or other activity together, browse through a museum together, create something together. There's a lot of different date ideas, and you're getting to know someone in different settings. And it can be less awkward too. I was going to say, if you are bad at talking to people, just pick something where you don't have to talk all the time.
This is about self-worth. How do you stay confident when dating, especially if, like, for example, someone has experienced so many rejections already or heartbreak? How do you start over, especially if you're, trying to reinvent yourself and trying to align with people and communities that would possibly help you find a partner in life?
Yeah, I think it's pretty common that we feel less and less worthy the more times we fail, the more that we date and explore connections and it doesn't work out, then it starts to make us feel like there's something wrong with us. But I offer a different perspective because every experience actually makes you more valuable, increases your worth because you have more experience and also you're willing to love again and open up yourself up again after being hurt. How is that not a positive? You know, you're
Yeah.
stronger, you're more resilient. And when I experience rejection, I just always think of there's not one song that everyone likes. So there's no possible way everyone could like me. And you just need one person. That's really
Yeah,
it. You
yeah.
just need one person to really see you and love who you are. So you don't have to try to be palatable to everyone.
Yeah, I
And
think
just because
that's
the people you chose didn't choose you or didn't choose to love you doesn't mean that nobody will choose
yeah.
you. There are 8 billion people in the world.
Yeah. There must be someone out there for all of us. I love what you said a while ago, because I think that aligns also to what I feel like whenever we're starting over, we're not starting from zero. The fact that we're experienced already, we know what happened to us, what the right and the wrong turns, we're starting
Mhm.
from experience. I
Yeah.
really want others to feel like there's no shame of starting over. Just know better, choose better, understand better, find that clarity. I think, who do you really want to be with? How can someone show up authentically without feeling like they have to perform?
Mhm. Well, I think just keeping in mind that even if you perform, eventually you will slip up. Your mask will slip. That person will see the real you sooner or later anyway. So why not speed up the process by just showing your authentic self in the first place? And of course, don't lead with your worst parts, just lead with the whole of you. But it is
Yeah.
hard because we all want to make a good impression. I think another thing that I've seen for my clients that leads to performing is feeling really nervous, like that person is on a pedestal. They're better than me in some way. And you can get that impression from their very curated but inaccurate social media or even a
Yeah.
dating profile. It's only maybe 5% of who someone actually is. Nobody can accurately represent themselves online. And we should all know that and talk about it more. So don't be intimidated. Just we're all equal. We all have different strengths and weaknesses and different things to offer. So just never see it as, oh, that person is higher up. And then that makes you more nervous and it makes you harder to let yourself shine. Just try to
Yeah.
bring the best version of yourself. And if you didn't, that's okay. Forgive yourself and try next time, whether with the same person or a different person. Because dating is just as much about learning about ourselves and our patterns and our insecurities and things we still need to heal as it is learning about other people.
Dr. Tony, you've been going around and helping people, find partner or love, or finding someone that maybe can be a life partner. If they try to connect with you, what can they expect? Because most of the people, they're afraid to, of course, most of the people around are afraid to really acknowledge that I need someone to help me. I need someone to help me find the partner that I'm looking for, the companion that I'm looking for. How can things be easier if they have someone who can mentor them, who can help them, who can coach them on what to do? Can you share with us what you're doing lately, so that maybe some people would really want to attend your activations, your events, or maybe be coached by you? So many people have been asking me, do you have someone who can teach us about dating, who can help us about this and that? So,
Yeah, I have a few different ways that I help people. If they just want, if it's too intimidating to work with me one on one, they can join a group or a one time event or workshop where it's working on yourself. I did one in Nepal on uncovering these sneaky dating blocks that you might have that many are not aware of, especially in the nomad community or people who love to travel a lot. There is some sort of novelty seeking, or maybe we have dopamine deficiency for us. So recognizing that, or maybe that we came from a chaotic family. So we're used to a lot of drama and taking that
Yeah.
as passion and love. And so when we meet someone who just means what they say and says what they'll do, like just what? And then our brain finds them boring. And that confuses us, and we pass up what would have been a great partner for us. So there's a lot of ways that we self-sabotage and limit ourselves. So you could do a lot in just 1 2-hour workshop or 1 hour workshop. You can even just read like a PDF book that I have or a course. There's a lot of ways that you get a taste of what it's like to have a dating coach support you without needing to make a huge investment of time or resources. I do many free or donation-based events too. And I'm actually doing one coming up where I'm actually doing some matchmaking, like bringing in people and introducing them, because as you're working through your own dating patterns and healing your inner child wounds and other wounds that you learned from your caregiver dynamics or with other friendships. And don't you want to connect with someone else who's also prioritizing their growth and their healing and their work? That would be a great partner to get together with. So if they want to do any of these things, they could just send me an email or message on Instagram, and I'm happy to talk them through it over a message or a call.
We will be putting on our captions all the connection, how we can connect with Dr. Toni. But Dr. Toni, just before we continue, let me just ask, before this intimacy workshop or the things that you help people with, you were talking about inner child healing also. You're also talking about so many things that would help someone. I would like you to introduce that also to the audience, because there are so many things that Dr. Toni has been doing in different places. And Dr. Toni spoke in some stages that we've produced, and she's very powerful. She's like with her stethoscope, with her doctor coat, in her rainbow dress, and she would be talking about her passion in arts and how she would really want to, support and help communities that is also aligned to look at her rainbow dress right now. So Dr. Tul, what are the things that you're also doing other than the helping people find their soulmate, find knowing how to date and stuff? I want to also ask about inner child healing and the things that you've been offering when you've visited the Philippines, because people would want to understand why that particular mindset is ingrained in them. Maybe there's trauma, maybe there's something that needs to be healed. So, can you tell us more about some of the practices also that you've been doing?
Sure. So it's all related, because inner child healing is about the relationship you have with yourself and your self-love. And you can't really genuinely connect intimately with others, whether friends or romantic partner, until you really learn to love yourself and know yourself and treat yourself as a loved one. And many people, they have had not so great blueprints. It doesn't necessarily need to be trauma. It could just be neglect or emotionally distant or immature parents who didn't show them what it's like to be accepting of your emotions and to really live a life that's fully vibrant and alive, because many of us close down, shut down that feeling of aliveness because we don't want to experience the ups and downs. I know for me, I did that. I forced myself to be a doctor to try to please my family, whose Chinese American family, led to a lot of mental health struggles. I had my rock bottom point where I thought about it ending my life even. And I just lost all the joy for living. And I couldn't be in a different place, a more different place now. And because I was able to recover, I'm really passionate about helping others who are anywhere, had some similarities to what I had. I was just an extreme people pleaser. I didn't know myself. I abandoned myself all the time. in relationships, in career choices. It affected every area of my life. So I work with people depending on their goals. The inner child healing, people have different goals for that. Some are just saying, I just want to be able to stand up to my parents a bit and choose to live a life that's true to me, that's authentic. I want to do the career I want, or at least put time towards this passion project, or I want to fulfill my childhood dreams, or I want to choose a partner who really makes me feel good and right on the inside. So it's all related, they're under the concept of self-love, I would say.
Yeah, it's very important. Yeah, like cliche as it may seem, we cannot really pour from an empty cup. We really have
Mhm.
to love ourselves first, understand what we need in order for us to really know. There's clarity also in knowing that we've all taken care of ourselves. We took care of ourselves first before really trying to find another person to be there with us and take care of each other. So Dr. Tony, let's do a quick one. Just say what comes to your mind. This is called rapid fire whenever we do some of the talks. Let me know what you think. What comes to your mind? Say dating today feels like.
Dating today feels like a tornado. Is just so confusing, and there's so much going on. I guess the first thing that came to mind was a minefield. Like, there are some really hurtful experiences that can happen. So no wonder people are scared and more hesitant
Yeah.
and cautious than
What's
before.
your before we continue? What's your can you share with us maybe at least one or two unforgettable dates that either it's funny or it's like, wow, I didn't realize that would happen to me.
Sure, I'll share two, but oh my gosh, I forgot what I was saying. The mind. Oh, that's why I was saying, like, I feel like having a guide or someone who could curate people or help you hone your radar can be really helpful, so you can avoid those minds in there. And I think it's needed more than ever as things get more chaotic nowadays. But some examples, like, so there was one guy who almost stalked and followed me. Good thing I wasn't going home, but I just met for tea and we were supposed to play badminton. And I just really did not hit it off. You know, within 5 minutes, usually, if you click with someone or not. But I still was back then being a very people pleasing, polite person. So I still spent almost an hour talking to him, even though I made that decision in my heart. And then I was like, I don't want to spend the next 2 hours playing badminton with him. Like, this is enough. So I was like, oh, this isn't what I'm looking for. And I wish you well. And then he just wouldn't let me leave almost, or he harassed me later just saying, you owe me a game of badminton. And it's just a reminder, you don't owe anybody anything. And that's terrible. And that's that's something that when you haven't healed your inner child, then you feel unnecessary guilt and shame over things that are not your fault, not your responsibility. You over apologize. Like, how many women do that? That's why I'm so
Yeah,
passionate about
yeah.
empowering women and helping women, especially, and Asian culture too. You're just taught to be polite, submissive, just
Saying sorry, always saying sorry, even if there's nothing to be sorry about.
yeah, yeah. So it's just really breaking out of that, and so that we can really thrive as our true selves, because I believe every person has something really important to contribute to this
Yeah.
universe. And if you are doubting yourself and struggling with being yourself, then we'll never get to
Yeah.
experience your gifts.
I think that's very
Yeah.
important to have like a mentor or a coach to help you, quiet down the noises in your head. Make sure that you're guided, because most of the time it's those things, those self-limiting beliefs, those things that makes us feel small, that
Mhm.
needs to be removed from our mind or whatever. We need to shift mindsets, and I think having coaches or having someone to guide us would really help us understand what do we really want and from that point do whatever it takes to get what we want. I think when you said a tornado or maybe a minefield, I was like a bit shocked because I felt like if that's the thing with you or what dating today is, so what more for others who really don't know how to start, right? So I think you need Dr. Tony to help you get in touch with her because we all need someone to help us or guide us from the challenges that we've been facing, especially for those who really want someone to find a partner but he doesn't know how to start. Another thing that I want to ask, real connection feels like what for you, Dr. Tony? Real connection.
Hmm. Real connection feels like it's cliche, but a breath of fresh air or just
Okay.
very natural, as easy as breathing. It just flows like water. There isn't too much friction, or there's even a familiarity that because your values are just so similar.
Like light. It's very light. I think just a bit of a story. When I met my partner, it's like that, to grow old with someone. And I think I saw it with my partner who is always talking about the same things that I talk about, who loves
Mm,
music, both of us of the same, wavelength, age group or something. And I felt like the connection feels so light. It's not
mhm.
forced and it's not coming from a place of I need you. It's more of I want you. It's more of like
Yes.
that, right?
Hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm not. When I started dating my partner and then at a certain point we ended up together, I was in a place where I'm looking for someone that I want, not what I need. And I think that
Definitely.
helps. So, right? Okay,
Yeah.
and that's
And someone
real
who
connection.
adds more to your life and your happiness. Like I read some books recently. Case Kenny said it's called settling up, not settling down. This person really amplifies your life and who you
Yeah,
are. And I love
yeah.
that concept.
I
And I
love
came
that.
across this quote. Yeah, and I came across another quote. I forgot who said it, but immature love is says, I love you because I need you. And mature love says, I need you because I love you. So
Yeah,
just reverse it, like not needing someone. But when you
yeah.
are in love, then you do start to develop the interdependence, but you are okay on your own.
You have to be complete first. It's not about someone completing you. You have to be complete first. I believe that whenever you're trying to look for a relationship, complete yourself first. You have to from that the person that you're looking for who can be a potential partner should be someone that can add up to the happiness
Yeah.
to whatever but not to really complete you. So okay, another one, a red flag people ignore in dating or in relationship.
I guess the first thing that comes to mind is like how they treat others, because they may treat them really special but be a little mean to other people, like the waiters
Yeah.
or the service
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
workers, or they may talk badly about exes or other people, or just if they're blaming others, like it's just like the external excuses, locus of accountability. And it could be true that, sure, an ex was really crazy, but then if they're not able to own up to what they did wrong, what they
yeah.
learned, even after you ask and they're just like, nah, or I don't have any regrets or mistakes in my life, please run.
That's a real red flag when there's no accountability or there's no if they don't recognize that one way or another they also made the mistake or they're if they treat you so well but they're so mean with the people around them especially those who will not give them anything. I think that's a red flag
Mhm.
also. So for those who are really looking for something, be really your radar must be working because there's no point of really be spending too much time with someone if we're not going to check those things, those little things, because that matters a lot in the end. All those piled up little things would be the cause of a bigger problem in the end if you don't look at it or check it out. Okay, so a
Yeah.
green flag people overlook is what?
I was going to say it was related. Well, on the last topic, it's like you want to find a kind person. A kind person is kind to everyone, or a generous person is generous to everyone, right? So you just know that's part of their character, who they are. Then it's not a performance that they're only kind or generous with you or treat you really so special or different. And I think the green flag related to that is just like a quiet kindness. Like they're not loud about it, they're not trying to show off, but they're just steady and they are there. It doesn't need to be glamorous, but that's love that's more important, the small things, the small moments of consideration from someone rather than these grand gestures, romantic gestures.
Yeah, I believe that. I think really, at the end of the day, you'll focus more on the little things, the little details that you will notice with someone that makes your heart really, smile. I think one of the things that really is a green flag is consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency is also something that, I think if you feel like from the start, when you started dating, he's been that kind to others, or and then after a few months still like that, or still treats you well, or that some people overlook is consistency, because sometimes they would just try to, what do you call that, justify some of the good things or the
Mm,
bad things, and they often overlook consistency.
okay.
Okay, so Dr. Tony, thank you for that very spontaneous rapid fire answers. And I would like to ask you, before we end this interview, this conversation, I hope that everyone who's watching would connect to Dr. Tony. If you have something in your mind, if you want someone to mentor you or guide you, this type of, relationship issues, or the topic that you felt like in this topic that you are connected the most. Dr. Tony, can you share with us a quote or some tips that can leave before we end this episode?
Hmm. I think it's just a gentle reminder, probably, that the goal isn't just fine. It's not a failure if something ends, because the goal isn't to find the one person. We change a lot, and no experience is ever wasted. We are probably a match for certain people at certain times of our lives. And I think the point of relationships really is to help us heal and grow individually and together with someone else, but to never lose ourselves. It serves us on our own journeys as well. So just trust that whatever happens, it's never wasted. It will always grow you, teach you lessons, and you'll just keep on increasing in your value and the love that you can offer to the next person who's lucky enough to be with you. So don't lose hope.
Wow, that was powerful, Dr. Tony. I was just expecting one liner, but that was super powerful, and I would really want people to, if you heard that, replay it, play it again, and it's really important that you understand that every time you feel like something didn't work out, it's not failure, it's experience. Consider it something as, you learn it, had fun, you there was a spark initially, and not every time you'll keep that flame burning. Still, the point is, you can be friends with people, you can meet people. Let's not focus on every time romantic. In the interview, when we were talking about how to meet people, how to start, checking out who can be a potential friend, or a new friend, a network, or a potential date, go to places where you're really interested to go to, aligned to. So you'll not have any issues. If you love music, go to a place where it's more on the music side, on the music industry. If you're in the sports, if you're a sporty type, do this and that. And then from that point, it already has something. It starts already with something like there's a common factor already, common ground. Whatever happens, you enjoyed. And I think it's very important also to have someone to guide you. And now there's people like Dr. Tony who can, help you find your match, help you, understand what's happening, and how it can guide you with what's happening in the dating game, or in really just in the game of life. So maybe trying to find out whatever it is that needs to be checked, needs to be fixed, especially mindset. I think the real reason why I'm doing this is I want people to connect to the right coaches, mentors, thought leaders, listen to them and try to find a way to fix whatever it is that is missing in your life with the guidance of coaches and mentors like Dr. Tony. Dr. Tony, so before we end again, is there anything that you would want to promote before we end our short conversation?
Sure. I wanted to say with getting support, someone told me it's like you are a jar and you can't read your own label because so many people try to do it themselves or they're reading a lot of books or they're trying to figure it out. It really is helpful you have someone from the outside who is not biased, who can read the label on your beautiful jar. And I do think there are a lot of people out there now, maybe too many coaches and therapists and helpers and people, but I think it's also great that there are people helping with such specific areas because I really believe it's you open the doors. Love is not something you have to go seeking for. There are so many opportunities all around you, no matter where you live. And even more if you are open to meeting anyone from anywhere and relocating, or maybe they come to you. If you get to know someone over long distance first, which I'm open to. So I can look anywhere in the world. So you just allow love to come in once you heal the blockages and you open the doors and you just open yourself up again. So I truly believe there are several great connections and life partners for everybody. And we just have to love ourselves enough and just open those doors. The thing I'm doing next that I'm gathering people for, we're enrolling over this month and we'll start next month in June, which is, as I mentioned, just sort of indirectly matchmaking, but helping both men and women or anyone who identifies in any orientation. It's very inclusive, just making connections. You're working through your inner child healing patterns, your mental health, improving all aspects of your life, but then you're doing it with a group and community, and hopefully you can make some connections out of it. You can also join my global matchmaking directory if you don't want to do the program. It's donation based, just fill out this questionnaire and we could do a bonus dating coaching session to just get a baseline of what are your obstacles. And then you're just on there for life. And if I find a good match for you, I will introduce you. So it's a very easy way to get some support with this journey. And one other thing from you were saying before, go to the events for you to enjoy them. Yes, because your life is not on hold. You shouldn't be waiting for a partner to build a life with or start your life with. Your life is every moment now. And so I prefer the phrasing, they say, find someone to do life with, not build life with. No, you're just finding a companion to join your already amazing, beautiful journey that you have built yourself, and enjoy the concert solo, enjoy with your friends, just enjoy everything. Don't try to like go to things only because you're thinking, oh, maybe I'll meet someone here finally, because it doesn't put you in a good state for connection. People can sense the energy of not desperation, but just like a certain intent. And it's most attractive and magnetic when you're just open and you're just shining as your best
Yeah.
self. So
Oh my
that's
God.
all I have
Yeah.
to say.
Oh my God, that's so cool. We ended it with something, all your words of wisdom. That's so cool. Don't overthink it. Don't go to a place thinking of so many things because they will sense that immediately.
Yes, just
Oh
fall
my
in
God.
love with your own life
Yes.
first, and you'll
Yeah.
naturally will have so many people wanting to join that, to have the
Yeah.
privilege of joining you on your
Yeah.
beautiful life.
That's so powerful. Fall in love with yourself first, and that would gravitate so many people around you. I think that's
Mhm.
the most important thing. Dr. Tony, thank you for saying that because if you fall in love with yourself first, if you try to do everything so that you'll be happy, and people will sense that, people would want to stay hang out with you, people, and don't overthink it because when you go to a place and really try to find someone. You're looking immediately for someone to build your life with. Don't do that.
Yeah.
They sense it immediately.
Yes. Yes. Just build yourself. Always be building your own life.
Thank you, Dr. Tony. So what are you waiting for? Please, I'll be putting on the link for Dr. Tony's community. And then by June, there's some activations that she will be doing for matchmaking and for dating guides. And we will also be supporting her with that. I really hope that this part of our life where we feel like, okay, we're free already, or we want to do this, we want to do that, but we're afraid. Don't don't be afraid. There's someone who can guide you. There are activations or there are events that you can go to. Just love your life, love yourself, love life, and let people gravitate to you, because that's the most important. You love your life. Whatever comes after that is just icing on the cake. It's very
Mm.
hard to share joy if you by yourself you can find joy. So anyway, thank you,
Mm.
Dr. Tony, and I hope to see you again anytime soon. Maybe in a few months. Like June, are you going to? I think you're going to Europe. You're going to Asia again.
I'm going to
Or-
Europe for a while. Yeah. I might be back to Asia and the Philippines in December. Yeah.
yeah.
Connect
Let's
online
connect.
would be
Yeah,
best.
let's connect online, Dr. Tony, because after this interview, after this conversation, we want people also to connect with you. Don't be afraid to ask. Dr. Tony will be very happy to support you and include you in her community. Maybe you'll meet the one there.
Yeah, that would be the dream come true. I've match made a few people already, and it's great.
Yeah, and that's so
It's
cool.
very
It's
gratifying.
so cool. All of us needs to, smile. Our heart needs to smile, and if we can help also to find that for someone, then that's so super cool. Thank you again, Dr. Tony. Let's connect soon, and we will be connecting with you for your activation, especially online. We want to support Dr.
Mhm.
Tony. She can travel. She has lots of money. She has lots of time. She's super intelligent. She's doing so many things, but yet she finds time to help people. Isn't that amazing when you realize that now you're in the position. Initially you were having some troubles, initially you have so many things in your mind, and you rose above it, and now you want to help others also. That's super
And
amazing.
give back.
Yeah,
Thank you.
she's giving back, and I think we're very lucky to have met someone like her, having, like, a profession, different countries where she doesn't need to do this, but purpose-led, passion-led projects fires her up. I think that's the very reason that she's setting up, creating communities and connecting people to, meet with one another, and hopefully you find your or friends in her community. So again, Dr. Tony, thank you for doing this. Thank you for being you, and we hope to see you again soon in the Philippines. But definitely we will be helping you in your activations online while you travel around the world and do more good with so many people around you. Thank you, Dr. Tony.
Thank you, Celia. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you, Dr. Tony, for that wonderful conversation. I know a lot of people needed to hear that today. Ayan. To everyone listening, maybe it's not about rushing into connection, but understanding it better, choosing better and showing up ready for something real. This is Coach Sally Jacob for Business Brews and Beyond. If this topic spoke to you today, please share it, tag it to someone who might need this, and let's keep the ripple going. Until the next episode, tiptoe if you must, just take that step. Keep brewing, keep growing, and go beyond.